Well, I was hoping Jose Padilla would be here to ask a question, but unfortunately, I guess he decided not to show up because there wasn't the theater. And that's all it is. You know, I think everybody realizes that's what this is. It's pure political theater.
Vice President.
Okay, I'm going to jump in real quick. Though I agree with JD Vance, I do believe that Alex Padilla was just trying to get his viral moment, was just trying to be bombastic and such like that. I do agree with him. Calling him Jose took away from the wisdom that JD shared. And I've said this before, man. Sometimes, you know, the name calling, it just doesn't hit like you want it to. And this one, in my opinion, what he was saying, the wisdom of what he was saying got lost, and will hear it in a second, got lost because everybody's going to zero in on what he called him, not about what he said.
JD Vance served with you in the Senate for multiple years. He is currently the president of the Senate where you serve. He also went to Yale. I assume that he knows your name is.
I do want to also just want to give you a second to see this young man. This is the man that the Democrat Party wants to push forward as a face for Black men. This is a man wearing a blouse. He has a spray-on beard. He has a Soul Glow curl, Jerry curl. And this is the face. This is the party that's trying to win back men, trying to win back masculine voting, Black men. He wants to bring them back. And this is who they put up as their face for their party. This is the man that they put up. I just want to let you see that again. He has a brooch on, got the little brooch situation going on there. He's got the blouse happening. He's got this sprayed on Beijing popping. He's got this Soul Glow happening. Okay. All right. Y'all got a winning formula, Democrats. It's a winning formula.
Alex Padilla. Your response to him calling you Jose?
Oh, he knows my name. He knows my name. Look, sadly, it's just an indicator of how petty and unserious this administration is. But he's the vice president of the United States. You think he'd take the situation in Los Angeles more seriously? You know, you think maybe he'd take a moment to talk to some of the families who have been impacted, have been terrorized, to feel what's really going on the ground. I mean, you saw him shaking hands with Marines, but did he listen to the Marines? Because we have, you know, report after report of the Marines, so many of the Marines themselves that don't want to be there. That's not why they enlisted. Or if not the migrant families, how about the employers, right, who I know are speaking up because they're concerned about their workforce?
Mr. Vice President,
I'm going to stop for a second because Karen Bass is going to she's fit to be tied right here. It is interesting how quickly the Democrat Party talks about cheap labor and how flippant they talk about cheap labor. It's going to have to be studied at one point. We're going to have to look into this because I don't think they hear themselves. Like, you're talking about cheap labor and that this is hurting your ability to get cheap avocados or get cheap this or inexpensive that. That has got to be crazy work. But then you all want us to give a quote unquote living minimum wage. It's both sides of their mouth. You're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. Let's go.
Mr. Vice President, how dare you disrespect our senator? You don't know his name, but yet you served with him before you were vice president, and you continue to serve with him today, because the last time I checked, the vice president of the United States is the president of the U.S. Senate. You serve with him today, and how dare you disrespect him and call him Jose?
How dare, I agree, Karen Bass. How dare you, JD Vance? Come on up here to the front of the church, JD. How dare you?
I guess he just looked like anybody to you. Well, he's not just anybody to us. He is our senator.
Look, I would.
That's interesting because that is the most passionate I've ever heard Karen Bass. I haven't heard her passionate like that about the fires, where countless thousands of Angelenos were displaced. I haven't heard her this passionate about the riots. I haven't heard her this passionate about anything except JD Vance calling out Alex Padilla for his foolishness. This seems interesting. Like, Why were you not that excited and passionate about the riots, burning down your city, burning down parts of your city, a section of your city, a block? It don't matter. Why were you not upset about that? But you can get all up in your feelings. How dare you? How dare you? When he called that man Jose. Okay. All right. Never mind.
Absolutely say that Gavin Newsom is endangering law enforcement. The law enforcement officials themselves tell me as much, that when they go out, let's say you have a Border Patrol official who needs to go out and arrest somebody, maybe a violent criminal who's also an illegal alien. When that Border Patrol agent goes out to do their job, they said within 15 minutes of them trying to do their job, they have protesters, sometimes violent protesters, who are in their face, obstructing them, preventing them from doing their job, and endangering their lives. Why do they have that? Because those people have been egged on by local officials. Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, by treating this city as a sanctuary city, have basically said that it is open season on federal law enforcement. They have treated Border Patrol and border enforcement as somehow an illegitimate force instead of what they are, which is the American people's law enforcement trying to enforce the American people's laws. So when Gavin Newsom encourages violence and rioting, when he encourages people to get in the face of our great Border Patrol officers, he is absolutely endangering the lives of federal enforcement. He's absolutely endangering the lives of mothers and daughters and fathers and sons who have been sent here to do a simple thing: enforce the law. And thank God they're willing to do it, despite the fact that the local leadership of this community has made it harder on them and has in fact endangered their lives as they go about to do their important work.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is trying to get a jump on 2028. As you know, Vice President JD Vance was in California today, and it did not go unnoticed by Gavin Newsom. In fact, it appears the Vance visit is all that Newsom noticed. The governor and his press people posted 9 social media messages about the VP, indicating that Newsom is either interested in becoming an influencer or interested in becoming the president, because the messages were much more cold shoulder than warm welcome. Newsom called the VP, quote, performative, said he was staging photo ops, and when JD Vance mistakenly called Senator Alex Padilla Jose Padilla, Newsom wrote, quoting, JD Vance served with Alex Padilla in the U.S. Senate. Calling him Jose Padilla is not an accident. So common sense is confused. Is the governor accusing the VP of being inappropriate, of being racist? Is calling a Hispanic man the wrong Hispanic name racist? Sounds like Newsom was using social media to pick a fight, until he actually picked a fight, challenging JD Vance to a debate.
So you might have seen Gavin Newsom call out JD Vance to do a debate. First off, I'm just surprised he didn't invite him onto his podcast, but then that would give JD Vance a little ammo to be like, I'm not going on a low-rated podcast. Can we just not forget that it seems like Gavin Newsom is just clocking out, not working for the citizens of California anymore. He's just working on that 2028 presidential run, which could be very much against JD Vance. I mean, what is bro doing at this point? Keep in mind, this is the same California Governor Gavin Newsom that challenged Ron DeSantis to a debate, lost the debate. His wife had to basically drag him off of the stage. Stop it. Stop the bleeding. It got so bad. There's all the receipts for the people that are like, fake news. Right here you can see on NBC News, wife of California Governor Gavin Newsom reportedly ended debate with DeSantis. Right there, NBC News again. Sparks flew behind the scenes at the Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom debate.
And so I want to just talk about one topic in this, and shout out, this has been a great clip. If JD Vance calling, what, I believe it is wrong for JD Vance to have called Alex Padilla Jose. I agree. He's wrong. JD, come on up here to the front of the church. You're wrong. You're 100% unequivocally wrong. And I think that you need to apologize. You need to genuflect and let them know that name calling and such of that nature is not appropriate. It's not going to, we won't do it. It's not appropriate, and all that kind of good jazz like that. Now, because I've said that, I just wonder, will the left also excoriate this?
From North Texas is under fire this morning for comments she made about Governor Greg Abbott.
Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot mess, honey.
Dallas Representative Jasmine Crockett was speaking at a dinner in Los Angeles on Saturday, hosted by a pro-LGBTQ rights organization. The governor has used a wheelchair for more than 40 years after he was struck by a fallen tree during a jog. Representative Crockett defended her statement on X, saying she, quote, wasn't thinking about the governor's condition. I was thinking about the planes, trains, and automobiles he used to transfer migrants into communities led by Black mayors, unquote. Some GOP lawmakers.
I just want to jump in because something I feel like the hostess is kind of skipping something in this. Let me just real quick. There we go. Listen what she says. Deliberately stoke tension and fear among the most vulnerable. But didn't those mayors that we're sending those people to, Chicago, Boston, didn't they say they were New York? Didn't they say they were sanctuary cities? Just wondering. And didn't those mayors say it? I'm just wondering. But keep going. Literally, the next line I said was that he was a hot A mess. What does that mean? What does hot A mess got to, how does that change Governor Hot Wheels? Referencing his terrible policies. At no point did I mention or allude to his condition, but you did when you called him Hot Wheels. See, Jasmine can justify this, and the left and her team will justify this, but they won't excoriate her like they did JD Vance. Continue. So I'm even more appalled that the very people who unequivocally support Trump, a man known for racial insensitive nicknames and mocking those with disabilities, are now outraged. At what point do you get upset and say, "Hey, this is not appropriate"? Now, I'm willing to say that both of them, all of them are wrong. I'm willing to do that. But will the left do that? I don't think so. And I think that is the problem. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going and being fruitful. Let me know. Drop your comments. Is JD Vance wrong for calling Alexander Padilla Jose? Is Gavin Newsom? Is he making a strong run for the White House? How do you see him turning around the narrative of California? Because everybody's going to just point to California. How do you turn around that narrative into a positive? Take that negative and make it a positive. Let me know what he does. And of course, do you agree with my point that Jasmine uses bad names? Jasmine calls people names. Do y'all call her out? Then why are we worried about JD Vance? Just my questions. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for rocking with us and so much for subscribing and helping us hit our goal of 50,000 subscribers. So everybody, until next time, grace and peace. Take care.